This one's left, and this one's the other left.
I mean, unless you want stage directions, in the case this one's left and this one's right.
All right. Are we on the line?
We are. Hi, Internet.
Oh, neat.
Hey, cool. It's the internet.
I like being online.
Yeah.
And this is the only
If you
way.
do, then why are we stopping?
It's all right.
Well, I like being online like
Oh,
this.
just in general?
I don't want to do any of the other stuff.
Right. Okay. Just being.
This is the
just
only-
being online.
Right.
Like a human being, not a human doing.
Right.
Okay. I'm with you now.
This is the only kind of online I do. So
I should follow your lead.
Hey, guess what? Your ad block's
Highly
been updated.
recommend.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah, I love how-
Thanks literally every time I open my Chrome. Yeah. Here's a new window for...
Love how-
Thanks literally every time I open my... Oh.
Yeah.
And also every time I go to the podcast page, we get to hear ourselves again. Hi, Internet.
Oh, man. Okay, I guess this wasn't his last movie.
What was?
Mantis.
Well, that's a TV pilot. I mean, technically this came out afterwards, but I don't know who's to say which one he filmed last.
Yeah.
But no, this Mantis came out like a couple weeks before, and that was just a TV pilot. And that came out a couple
Yeah.
weeks before he died, and then this came out afterwards. I don't know I don't know the whole backstory. I don't know if he was doing the Chadwick Boseman thing, like keeping it a secret, but I think anyone that would have known him probably should have known by looking at him from this movie. I mean, he was considerably smaller than he usually was, which, could be age,
Mhm.
too. But I mean, like, he just looked gaunt in general.
Yeah, his head looked
Yeah.
less full.
also he didn't have his typical Steve James haircut,
Yeah.
so that made his head look a little bit smaller too.
Yeah, but I mean, just like his eyes were sunken more than normal, and you could just tell he was.
He had a bit
Not
of an
well.
Eddie Murphy haircut going on.
Edward Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want top chat. I
No.
want live chat.
Yeah.
I live to chat online.
Nobody wants top chat.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Kinda chat
So
are we
Mantis
looking
was a TV pilot.
at? Top chat. Yes, it was a. Yeah, he was just in the pilot movie. But it was a TV. I don't think it went on very much longer after the pilot, but
Carl Lumbly was the main character. I like that guy. He's never in anything, but I like him.
is that the guy from Alias? Right? Yeah, that's like the
yeah.
handler dude from Alias, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he was also, he's been the voice of Martian Manhunter
Yeah.
and like
Oh,
many,
yeah.
many things.
And Gina Torres was in it. I didn't realize that, too.
I saw Gina Torres in a recent thing, and I was like, "Hey, where have you been?" I
She
bought.
was apparently on that show Suits.
Yeah, I bought that. Xbox did one of those like, "Hey, do you want a super crazy deal just for you?" And there's some EA game that was like apparently like a attempt to be a AAA game, but like nobody gave a shit, so they were just like, "Let's put it on super sale." So it's called Immortals of something, like Avion or Avion.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's naive spelled backwards. But
Is that the Breath of the Wild alike game?
no, that was
Okay.
Immortal Phoenix Rising. That's probably also didn't help it because there was like two different games with very similar titles. But no, that one was pretty good. That was like Breath of the Wild without breaking weapons. But no, she was like, she's just mocapped in it. But I mean, as soon as she showed up, I was like, hey, haven't seen you in anything for a while.
watch Suits.
Well, you're right. I've seen exactly like one episode of Suits in my life.
I have seen many a reel that references Suits.
Yeah. And yeah, I think I do actually remember she was on that show in the slight brief time I kind of maybe partially watched an episode. What's weird is that I just happened to be randomly watching the episode, and this was several years after the fact, but I was I was with my parents and when she showed up, I was like, "Hey, look, it's the princess," and they were like, "What?" That's just how fucking out of it they were, and I was like, "The Meghan Markle, like, no," I was like, "Wow, to be you,"
Yeah.
like I was like, "Man, I want to be you." I was like, "I wish I didn't know that. I don't need to know that. Nobody gives a shit or should give a shit," but it's like a thing that was in my head, and that's literally all I knew about the show.
Did we ever do The Exterminator as a BMFcast movie?
I don't know. You're asking me, but Google's far more reliable.
When a man's best friend is killed on the streets of New York, he transforms into a violent killer, turning New York into a war zone. 1980.
No.
Yeah, I don't see Chuck as having reviewed it. Usually that's how I know. Could be from Friends.
I know by typing in BMFcast and then the movie.
Yeah, that's
And
usually what I do. But this
Smart.
is
And then I
Chuck
look for
has
the-
watched it.
I look for the third result.
Yeah.
Because usually it's some other bullshit before ours. And then I click on that result so that I tell Google that that's what I would prefer to see. But
Right.
it has been 15 years and it still hasn't learned.
Our CO isn't very strong.
Doesn't have to be
Nope.
because we're quitting. Because fuck you. That's why.
I mean, me? What did I do?
No.
No, not you. Just the internet.
Oh. I mean, you're looking generally at my direction.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the camera. Yeah. Sorry. You can't see my extremely well
Casting
lit
devious
eyes.
stares in my direction.
Yeah.
It's no dream.
That song is boring as fuck to do as karaoke, but also kind of satisfying because it's easy.
Yeah.
You can be really drunk and just kind of get through it.
Hanging around. It is Sex from Candy, right? That is,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, like, sometimes my brain is just like mishmashes 90s songs together, and so.
In doing karaoke at a friend's house, I realized that outros are my kryptonite.
Oh God,
Outros. I'm just like, all right, next song. Like I'll just be like, we're done here.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the
What,
outro.
were you singing police songs?
Yeah, well, those are easy because you just repeat the same thing.
Well, I was
like
going to say,
6,000
like, that's when you're
times
like,
for an
yeah.
extra 5 minutes.
Yeah, you're like, no, the outros suck, and it's like, oh, it must be a police
Yeah.
song.
Also, REM's version of Superman, creepy song. You don't realize it until the lyrics are on the screen. You're like, fuck, what am I singing?
Oh God,
No.
what am I singing about this?
Yeah, whoa, I didn't even think about it that way. Fuck. Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows
Yeah.
Possum Kingdom is a song that is extraordinarily creepy, but also fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Isn't
But
it,
when you sit down and read the lyrics, it's like,
yeah,
isn't it basically like a vampire fantasy
Yeah.
thing? Yeah.
Yes.
Like Anne Rice style? I mean,
something like
I'm just saying, like, it seems
Or-
like it's...
he's a raccoon.
Oh, okay.
in a Possum Kingdom.
Yes.
Aren't we all just a little?
He's just looking to Toad the Wet Sprocket.
He just has one question.
Dust,
you want to die?
dust thou, wouldst thou will expire thy life.
Yeah.
And what is REM Superman? Is that a suicide song? What is it?
No, it's a stalker song.
Oh, is it?
basically. Yes.
Okay.
Very much.
I was just thinking, like, maybe
Like,
it's...
excessively.
I guess I've never looked at the lyrics. I just thought, like,
Yeah.
knowing the chorus, I was like, oh, he's standing on the ledge, like,
No.
you know, like...
No. It's just, but go ahead, read the lyrics at some point. Be
Okay.
like, oh, yeah, this is really creepy sounding.
Oh, you mean like everyone's favorite date rape Christmas classic?
Yeah.
Baby, it's rapey outside.
Yeah. At least everyone realizes that now. Like I think it's come around. Where
It took
everybody's
us like 70
yeah,
years
it
to
did
figure
take us
it
a
out.
while, but now everybody's like, wait a minute. Well, Santa baby too. Like that's like, all right, we get it. You want to fuck Santa?
Yeah.
And then who
Sorry,
was
I will
it?
never-
Michael Bublé doing the Santa buddy. It's like no, commit, motherfucker.
Right.
You want to fuck Santa? Don't do the Santa buddy shit.
Listen here, pal.
Yeah. If
We
you're gonna
all
do
want
the
to fuck
song,
Santa in this song, so don't puss out.
Don't you dare gender flip it, you fucker.
Yeah, you go sit on Santa's lap.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be a power bottom.
I mean, well, you can say Santa buddy, hurry down my chimney tonight if you want, but you got to lean into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, take your time, Santa. Do what you want.
No, I heard that and I was more offended than normal Santa baby. I was like, no, Michael Bublé, fuck you.
It did take me a very long time to figure out I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus was because Daddy is Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Jesus fucking Christ! My entire.
I'm
world
sorry, I
just
meant
changed.
Santa Claus's
Yeah.
daddy. Santa Claus's daddy in a very
Right.
sexual
Well, what
way.
line gave it away? I saw mommy tickle Santa's balls.
Yeah. I saw the mommy.
So I saw mommy swallow.
I saw mommy swallow Santa's ball.
She jiggled his balls.
This is the. Why are we allowed on YouTube
Also,
or the
this-
internet?
it's fucking
This is
March.
why we're ending it. This
Yeah.
is why we're ending it. We're just
Like, what are we doing? We're talking about.
talking amongst ourselves. There's nobody even watching.
I mean, it's March.
That's basically every.
I did
every
like
episode.
that we announced we're ending, and then like
Nobody cares.
even people who aren't even like they have the free Patreon, like just the hey, give me updates if you post something. Even those people are like they have dropped at the $0 level. They dropped. It's like wow,
Whatever, man.
like wow, like we are dead to you. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, they don't need to. They don't need to know anything anymore. They know it's time to go.
Yeah. It's,
They're the people who like.
not gonna work here.
Yeah, they're just like I don't know. Like I curate my email feed very religiously.
Oh, these are the people that like the first time a gun gets brought out at a party, they leave. They're out at like 11:30.
I've
out the
handled
door.
too many guns at parties. Now that you say that, and I think about it, I'm like,
I think it depends on the caliber.
Well, we are high caliber.
Both of
over
the
here,
of the person and the gun. Yes.
though I do remember racking. It was some kind of 9mm. I don't know what, but then I got my hand stuck when it
Oh
came
yeah,
back.
that always
But-
feels really good.
Yeah, caught the
Web of
the
your
fleshy
thumb.
web,
Yeah.
Did you-
then I was like, "Fuck! I only have one hand to get the hammer to get
Yeah.
get it back, and I don't want it going off, and I don't want to tell anybody that I've done this."
Oh,
Classic-
so you
classic
like full
Florida
on
party.
something about marriage, your hand up in there, didn't you?
Yeah.
I kind of did. It,
Okay,
it
yeah.
did not feel good.
Franks and
I
beans
can
it.
tell you that. Like that spring is incredibly strong. And then I kept fiddling with it. And I looked down the barrel while I was doing it.
Well, yeah, you got to look down there just to make sure.
Yeah, you got to push.
Yeah.
Like, it's like next to the decocker.
This is
there's
why-
the declover.
This is why I don't own any guns. Because it would just be it.
You wouldn't shoot yourself. You would just maul yourself on the
Yeah.
mechanism. Yeah.
I would find every other way to,
Right.
to harm myself aside from getting shot. By
And then when someone
I
breaks
would
into
somehow
your house,
pistol whip myself.
yeah, when someone breaks into your house, you will like eject the magazine into their eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ricochet,
Or just like
ricochet off
every-
the chimney.
Or just like every movie, just throw it at them. You know.
Right.
That's what you do when it's empty.
Yeah.
They're just a heavy weapon.
But no, Jen would never let me have one anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't really. I wouldn't want one. You know.
That's fair.
I'd fuck up somehow, and then it's like, oh, I'm in jail for the rest of my life. God damn it!
Yeah.
Also,
Again.
also, how many Memphis Grizzly parties were you going to?
Yeah.
Hey, that's more topical sports, Samuel.
Wait, was
That's
there
what we
something
hate
that happened with?
John Moran.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Not so topical. I mean, it was like 8 months ago, but it's
Yeah,
semi-topical.
He served his 25-game suspension.
But he was a repeat offender on the
Yeah,
guns
he
and
kept
photos.
doing
Yeah.
some really stupid shit.
Well, he kept posting the shit on Instagram or whatever. That was the problem. It wasn't even that he
Yeah.
was necessarily doing it. It was that he was putting it on social media where it's
Yeah.
like, do not, whatever.
Don't jeopardize your
No, it's just,
multi-million dollar a year.
There's, I
Income.
can't think of the word, but like, don't show guns in a favorable light. There's a better word for that, but yeah, like,
Don't glorify.
yeah, glorify. That's probably the word I'm looking for. Yes.
People should glorify puns, not guns.
They should glorify guns.
Oh,
Ah.
shit.
Anywho, should we do a podcast?
I guess.
You know what?
Yeah.
Sure.
This blood fist ain't gonna shake itself.
This fist isn't going to blood itself.
Yeah.
This week on the BMFcast. Why? Oh, that's
Why?
right. I just.
Making sure phones on vibrate. And out of reach. Not sitting against the plastic instruments or something. In this chair.
I routinely realize that we are in a different. Well, this is a different place than my home. So when I look at my phone and it tells me like the neighborhood, and what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, I'm like, why do I care about that? Ugh.
You don't?
I don't.
You
I
clearly
really
don't.
don't. But it confuses me nonetheless because I am a moron, an imbecile.
Oh, more on that later.
More on that now. Let's
All right.
light the scandal.
You're not that dumb.
Thanks, buddy.
You're dumb, just not that dumb.
I'm on a sliding scale. Oh fuck! Hold on, wait. No, I after all this time, I forgot the fucking episode number. There, all right. It's so close.
598.
Yeah.
It's one of the final three.
I know, just making sure. All right, welcome to the BMFcast.
Hey, BMFcast.
BMFcast.
Episode 598.
Wow.
Almost there.
So close.
It's so
We're
close.
breathing hard at
Yeah.
this point. Yeah.
Heart rate's going up. You feeling that tingle?
Yeah.
Almost there.
Like a Chuck tingle. Speaking of not Chuck, no Chuck here.
No,
He's not-
sorry,
He
Chuck.
might be tingling. I don't know. I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
And what we do each and every week, besides make the intros as awkward as possible, is we go and we watch
Yeah.
ourselves a quote-unquote bad movie. Then we come in here and talk about it. Then they get ratings. Good bad movies, enjoyable bad movies. They get 1 to 5 jocks and robot jocks.
Robot jocks.
However, there are bad movies. You can stay away. They get a negative sliding scale. 1 to 5 bags and giant bags of trash.
Boo.
Yuck. Don't like that.
Boo. So, as we are like doing our victory laps, sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of like a LAPSE.
Just
Like
revisiting
a-
old friends.
laps.
Once more around the block.
Yeah. I think so we've taken a weird journey on this because I believe we collectively watched the first Bloodfist for the BMFcast back in
We did.
2016.
We did.
And then Chuck and I took it upon ourselves to mostly continue the Bloodfist saga, specifically skipping Bloodfist 5, Human Target,
Yes.
because we're going to talk about that tonight.
Correct.
Because it stars, or at least has, one Steve James in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Features.
Yeah, basically his,
Yeah, he's
his
not
last,
the main character.
his
but-
last feature film
Yeah.
before passing.
Yeah.
So,
There's debate whether he did the pilot for Mantis after, but
sure. I mean,
last-
at least it released
as much as
time-
Bloodfist 5, Human Target can be considered a
this is at least a,
film.
Sure, and also, like I was about to say, a theatrical release, but also, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah. Probably not.
Yeah, so as I had to refresh myself on, basically the first two Bloodfist movies are in the same universe. Almost all the Bloodfist movies star Don the Dragon Wilson.
Are they in the... Wait, the
The
first,
first two are
Yeah,
in the same
sorry.
universe, and then after that, they star Don Wilson, but
the rails.
he's a completely different person in every single film. With basically, you have to find out the backstory every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd. They turn into just like events that happen to a guy starring Don the Dragon Wilson, and there's kickboxing in them.
Yeah, it's like if all the James Bond movies just like his name was like Frank West, in the next one.
Yep.
But it's still like, hey, it's Pierce Brosnan. He's
Or more like if it's Sean
Doing
Connery.
spy
I mean,
stuff.
it's like it's kind of
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just,
it's
it
a little
should
odd.
be like it's the guy that started it. Why didn't you carry it on? You never switched actors. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the reasons you might change character and plot.
yeah.
Sure.
I mean, like we've done other things like the Kickboxer movies have like had people come and go, and I think sometimes be different people, and then show up again later, and it's like, oh, now they're so and so's brother or something like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, this is just completely different every single time. Just sequel in name, completely sequel in name only.
Yeah,
Every single one.
there's nothing I see that says why this is, other than
Just notoriety on the name, I guess. It's
Yeah.
just one of those things.
Yes. World-renowned Bloodfist.
I mean,
or maybe it's so that people will watch like one of the middle Bloodfist and be like, Bloodfist 4. Well, I wonder about all these other Bloodfist movies. Let me take a look at those.
honestly,
and then,
I feel like
and then rent them.
there is a certain type of film series that benefits from hitting a certain number on home video market, because I feel like Deathstalker is the same kind of way. I mean, like all the Deathstalkers are okay. The guy's maybe
Completely
named
unrelated,
Deathstalker, but
yeah.
like other than that, when they say his name, it's usually something completely different. I believe. You know,
Not even the tone is the same.
Oh, so this is like James Bond, but it's where the man is the Bloodfist.
Sure.
Don the Dragon Wilson is Jimmy Stanton, the Bloodfist.
Don the Bloodfist Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it works for this one because he has amnesia to start the movie.
True.
So he
which
doesn't
is,
know
I
if
think,
he's Bloodfist or
maybe
not.
have a harder time remembering what the overall plot of these things were.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened. Well, I mean, just watching it, I'm like, am I supposed to know who any of these people? Am I supposed to know any? And it's like, no. It actually kind of works because it's like, no, you're not supposed to. You are as in the dark as Don the Dragon Wilson is.
Yeah.
We spent 90 minutes trying to figure it out, and it didn't matter.
Similar to last week's movie, though, this movie begins with somebody getting shot in the head.
Yeah.
And
Even
going,
better, it begins with a defenestration.
That too, yes.
Yeah.
We get a little shadow boxing in front of the window first.
Yeah.
And then we get just
That's blood fisting, I believe.
shadow
Sport.
blood fisting.
Yeah.
And then just straight out the fucking window goes Don the Dragon Wilson in all of his mulleted Armani suited
Oh,
glory.
man. He's got some long-ass hair, and it's great.
It's not great.
It looks terrible, so it's great.
Yeah.
This is the kind of cheap wig that you do so that you can use stunt people very regularly, which is strange because I thought he was one of those people that was like, I do my own stunts and stuff. But I mean, like, that is the kind of wig you slap on,
Yeah.
Van Damme and stuff in his later movies where it's like, I'm not going to do that, or maybe I'm high on cocaine that day, or whatever
maybe
else.
it's like Samurai Cop, and he had already cut his hair, but then he had to do reshoots, so
Perhaps.
they got the wig and put it on him.
Maybe.
I think so. It honestly,
But not even a wig that matches.
It looks like they took a curtain of hair, like cut a curtain of hair from a wig, and then just taped it to the back of his head, and decided not to shoot the back of his head.
Yeah. But
It's
you know who
bad.
does shoot the back of his head?
The bad guy, the Asian
the
mob
people
guy.
chasing him.
His ambassador of Quan.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah. We'll say that there's a lot of that guys in this movie, and I don't think any of them get fucking names.
not really.
Yeah.
We
And
do
also, the credits are a mess because they're not even like I think they're in by order of appearance in the movie, but even then, like, it's not. It's very just.
Was it alphabetical? I mean, I don't know. I didn't
No.
pay attention.
Or actually, yes, you're right. It is after you get by Don Wilson, Denise Duff, and the motherfucking man Steve James.
It's alphabetical.
It's alphabetical for the
Okay.
rest. Even though one of the guys was credited as with, and I can't remember who
Steve
that
James was credited as
That's-
with.
Yes, but there's another guy.
It's
Steve
probably
James.
it's
and
probably the
someone
Quan
else.
guy.
Maybe
'Cause
I don't
feel
know.
like I feel like I've seen that dude in a lot of other things, but also one of his henchmen was
Was
just
it Art Camacho?
what Art
No.
Camacho was the fight guy.
Yeah, he's a fight coordinator, but
choreographer,
he's also a security guard. He's
Oh.
built. Yeah, it's alphabetical. That
Okay.
you're correct, but it also makes it like impossible to look up any of the
Sure.
shit in this fucking movie.
No, because like the guy who played Quan looked very familiar, but then one of his sidekicks was in several movies that I've seen far too many times. Like he was the bad guy in Karate Kid 2, which is a pretty notable role. But then I know him probably more from being one of the street racers from Better Off Dead that do the Wide World of Sports Howard Cosell voice.
Yeah.
I think he's actually the one that does it on the PA or whatever. But yeah.
There's also Don Stark, who you may know from that '70s show as the neighbor Bob.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the big hair.
Yeah, perma.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like I should know Denise Duff from somewhere, but I don't.
Looks like she does a bunch of trash. No offense.
Well, that's like 90% of the actresses in 90% of the movies we've seen.
Yes.
She was in Martial Law Undercover. I don't know if we watched
the lady
that one.
does not protest too much.
She should protest.
Yeah, she should protest a little bit more.
But yeah,
She was in L.A. Twister. Did we watch L.A. Twister?
Oh, the Twister?
we
La
did not
Twister.
watch La Twister.
We should have done a twist month.
I think we did Tornado with an exclamation point, though.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Anyway,
we digress.
anyway
we
yeah.
always do.
So
Yeah, he gets shot in the head, gets amnesia, and then you get kind of like the same sort of romantic undertones, background music rehab. It doesn't go on as long, and there's not somebody like Red Brown for him. It's just him and
Just him
doctors
by
and
himself.
nurses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not quite like that, an unintentionally romantic vibe that was happening in last week's movie. But
But it sounds like
it
it.
sounds like it. But yeah, it's. I
We
don't
will
know.
hear the love theme from Bloodfist 5.
Yeah, but
again and again.
Eventually, they're more or less like, all right, you got damage to your parietal lobe, and so long-term memories are an issue. Even though you remember how to speak, you remember all of your martial arts training.
it's your classic amnesia.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know how the brain works, and neither do the writers of this movie.
Sure. Yeah.
And as Harlow pointed out as we're watching, it's like, well, why don't they just do the Flintstones thing and bop him on the head to bring it back?
Yeah. I mean, clearly we were. I think at some point did Lou Ferrigno just took a shot to the head with like a pool cue or something, and we're like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe he's going to remember now
Yep.
or get smart.
Is there anything
Maxwell Smart.
where that has actually worked in a movie aside from
I
Flintstones
feel
episodes?
like that's literally just the the little thing that happened in the Flintstones, and then you poked it back down, and then like his memory came
But there's
back.
like, in movies like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, like, she had a lazy eye, got kicked in the head, and it went correct. But also, what was the Chris Elliott show where he
Get a Life.
Get
get a
Life,
life? Yeah. At one point, he gets knocked smart,
Oh,
and then he hits his head again and gets
Yeah,
knocked
it's
stupid.
okay. So like, there's a little bit of a
there's
trope.
precedent.
There's
Yeah,
precedent. Yeah.
The Flintstones might have created a brief trope or a minor trope, if you will.
And well, it's not the.
A
If it was
tripe?
the Jetsons, it would be an isotrope.
Bitch. Yeah. So he has amnesia.
Yeah.
We're
Oh, and speaking of isotropes,
really inspired to talk about this movie.
no, I mean the basic so he has amnesia, and the MacGuffin of this movie is that everybody's looking for plutonium. That there is one guy has plutonium. He was the contact, and everybody is always asking about this suitcase full of plutonium, and it's just it's the
The thing is,
The
we don't
MacGuffin
get to
briefcase.
that for a while because we've had a first scene where he's jumped out a window, tried to run away, almost got run over by a car, beats up a bunch of dudes, and then gets shot in the head, falls in a river, and next thing you know, he's in the coma.
right.
Wakes up, rehabs, and then we're introduced to a woman who says she's his wife, and oh, thank God he's here.
Yeah.
It's so great to see you again.
Right, he got the brief explanation from the doctors, and then she comes in, and it's just like, oh my
Yeah.
God, you're okay.
And she's like, look, I have pictures of you. Look at how goofy you were at New Year's Eve. And it's Don the Dragon Wilson wearing like a goofy hat and using the same expression he always has.
Slightly more smirky, but not
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. She's like, look, weren't you fun before you lost your memory? And
I feel like
But-
it'd feel like it'd be like the same kind of thing, and like I know T-Straw doesn't listen to this, but he would appreciate it nonetheless. And I will admit when people are right about certain things, but like I feel like it'd be like the same thing looking through like Kevin Costner's family photos, where it's like, here is Kevin Costner having a really good time at Yellowstone National Park, and he
Yeah.
just stone
just
faced.
stone faced.
Yeah.
I found an interesting connection.
What's
I apologize for interrupting.
Oh, is this some IMDb trivia
this is
connection?
some IMDb shit. Yeah.
Yes. What is it?
So, our Denise Duff
Mm-hmm.
in
Denise
this
Duff.
movie, Denise Duff, yeah. She was in Frogtown 2,
Oh.
which is
Okay.
the sequel to Hell Comes to Frogtown, that stars Robert Zadar,
Zadar, yeah.
and has Lou Ferrigno, Brian James, Ken Devishian,
Man.
Charles Napier.
We
Yeah.
did watch that, right? I mean,
No, we
I
watched
don't know
Hell Comes to
how-
Frogtown, but not Frogtown.
I don't know how we didn't do
Deuce.
Frogtown 2.
okay. I feel like that just
Maybe we go
feels,
601 episodes.
It just feels like a thing.
We can't. No, we cannot start doing that.
Okay, we'll do a double feature on
I mean, it does feel a little strange that we're doing our victory lap here and we haven't like brought in the chin. I mean,
Yeah, well, this is the closest we get.
Yeah, sadly. But anyway,
R.I.P. the
we're
chin.
going to get to Steve James at least.
We will.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is she says, "All right, hey, I'm your wife. Great, I'm going to take you home."
In the pimpiest
Yeah.
Cadillac we've seen this year.
Yeah,
I
and
can't-
she's dressed a little.
Actually, I guess that would have to be. It's probably Steve James's car. I think that's the implication.
Yes,
It's got to be
it is.
because I just realized that. But
because he gets pissed because it got. Yeah.
right, that's true. Yeah, he does actually say what happened to my car. I forgot about that. But I think the backstory is, and honestly, probably the entire reason his character maybe even was a pimp in the first place is that it just feels like they got that car from the backlot from like blaxploitation era movies. They were just like, oh shit,
Holy
this
shit,
is still
look at
here.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we're putting this in the movie, and it's like, okay, now you're a pimp. She's a hooker. Go.
Yeah, it's
You know?
got it's got like purple and blue cheetah print inside.
It is the weirdest
like-
thing. All right, the seats, the seats are cow skin or cow print.
Yeah.
The door
Cards.
cards are basically purple velvet. The up is, I believe, leopard print.
Headliners.
Yeah,
leopard
headliners,
print, yeah.
leopard print, and falling apart. I don't know. Was there any other animals in there I missed? Was there fringe somewhere? I didn't see fringe.
No, I think the dash was purple though.
Okay.
Purple
Yeah.
purple velvet carpet
Yeah,
dash.
yeah, it was very
Purple
confusing.
velvet carpet dash.
But he's just like he's very confused by all this. But he's like, "All right, where are we going?" And she's like, "Well, we're going home." But then they're immediately accosted by two guys.
Yeah. They're in the. She does not maintain this ruse for very long. I mean, they're in the parking garage from the hospital, like about to get to the car, and like these guys jump like, "Where do you think you're going?" And I think it's played where you think they're talking to him, and then that's when she does the slight reveal of like,
Yeah, you guys.
The first twist,
Yeah,
yeah.
the first twist.
Yeah,
of,
you
like,
were supposed to pay me.
She says, "Where's the money?" And
Yeah.
they're like, "Fuck you, no money, haha.
Mm-hmm.
We're criminals. Why did you think we would
Yeah.
do anything correct?"
Yeah. So she tries to pull the "you're not getting anything," and you're not getting him until I see my money, and then they start doing the "well, we'll just kill you." They pull guns, and then basically they have to fight briefly. This is the first time we see that he still remembers how to fight, or Bloodfist. I'm sorry, that's the sport.
Yeah. He remembers how to fist blood.
Yeah. And then they basically, she's just like, all right, well, screw this. Tries to get away in the car. He basically Dukes Hazzard his way into one of the windows, and they take off.
Does she stop for him? It's really hard to tell. I thought because
No,
when he got into
just
the
kind of dies.
well, when he jumps feet first into the window, that car is stopped and then it takes off again.
Well,
so
I mean, I think
I wasn't sure if they were trying to imply she was driving away or
I
stopping for him. Or
I think the implication was she was not stopping, and then he just jumped in a moving car.
Fair enough.
But
Yeah.
hard to
maybe
tell.
maybe they did maybe they did frame it so that they could slow down and it wouldn't be as obvious
Yeah.
for safety.
She does seem to wait for him a little bit at least. But,
Sure.
But yeah, so they take off, and then he's like, "What the hell's going on?" She's like, "Hey man, I don't know you. They just paid me to pretend to be your wife, pick you up. We gotta get back to, I don't even know Steve James's pimp character's name, but she's like, we got to get back to Steve James. He'll know what to do." And so they go back to Steve James, and he's like, "Why the fuck did you bring this guy here?
Yeah,
what the shit?"
Like first, where's my car? Second, who's this guy? 3, once he finds that out, why is he here? And they followed you, but then he's basically like, he gives in very quickly. They're like, she threatens to leave and not be his girl anymore, and he gives in very quickly, and it's like, all right, we need you out of our lives. You're endangering both of us. I'll set you up somewhere. I'll make a few phone calls, and then you're out of here. And then he goes over the phone and is like, "Yeah, it's not my fault you got attacked in that garage like that." And then he does the, "I never said anything about
About the
being
garage.
I know I didn't say anything about being in Topeka." It's
Yeah.
just that key thing, and it's just like, anyway. So yeah, he's like, he's in on it, and then immediately the same two guys show up at his place, and they have to escape once again.
Right.
Yeah.
Fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
have to
and
fist blood.
Steve James gets shot,
Yeah.
and we're like, "Well, fuck."
Yeah, I guess it was nice of him to kind of cameo in this movie.
I guess he really was that sick when they were filming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they escape, and now she's just kind of sort of in tow, but not really wanting to be, just
Yeah.
second wheeling on a unicycle or
Where do they go?
I think
They
just,
go to a
it's
motel.
Yeah, because
Okay,
that's
they
what
stay in a
first of her
motel.
like hooker jokes. She's like, "Oh, I never thought I'd stay here when I wasn't on the clock or whatever."
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ma'am, you don't punch a clock, do you?
Mm.
But then she does basically the shower cry.
Yeah, like almost it's a very strange interstitial because she's like they're joking and the music's kind of jovial and everything, even though, in reality it is kind of horrific what's happened, but it just does a hard cut to like, top up. I mean, this is like a not nudity kind of movie, but like,
No.
she's just having that special kind of cry in the shower, and it's just like, oh, all right, this turn here, and they're just hanging out in the room. I don't remember. They just bullshit for a while, and I think he's basically like, at some point they got. Oh, I forgot. They did not go to the hotel. They do the investigator's name first, because they end up back at like the NSA first, because they get a suitcase full of money.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
Let's just say it now.
There's a lot of twists and turns.
There's a lot going on, and it happens so fast, it's tough to keep track.
Yeah.
But I will say this. If they go 3 minutes without an action scene, they're like, dude, we fucked around too long.
It's time to fight.
It's time to get it's some kind of fight going.
Yeah. I had to think about it, that when they were in the motel room, they had the suitcase full of money that they got from that 70 show guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they spot some dudes. Oh, they find his apartment.
Okay.
Somehow.
All right. Yeah. This is
Yeah.
what they do. God.
Yeah.
All right. They figure out that he's wearing a very expensive ring, and he has to have gotten it somewhere. And so they go to the super expensive jewelry store, because she's like, "Wow, that looks like a really expensive
Tiffany's.
thing."
Yeah, she says Tiffany's.
Yeah. So they go there,
There's
and
nothing blue in that entire
and-
store.
completely random thing, but Sharon Lawrence is the woman behind the counter. And apparently, this is her debut in anything.
Who is this?
She was like on like NYPD Blue. She's,
Okay.
if you look her up, she's been in a lot of shit, mostly TV. But
There's
I was
several-
like, wait, I recognize this person.
There are
And-
like 3 or 4 people in this movie that like are very prominent. That people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like the secret buyer guy of the plutonium or whatever, who I said looked like Stan Lee from the 70s, was.
Yeah.
But when he took his glasses off, I was like, I know who that is.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very
Well,
recognizable guy.
Yeah, just like the woman. There's a guy who's like, oh, he recognizes Don the Dragon. He's like, oh, Mr.
Was that
Stan,
the Mad TV guy?
Yeah, he's the fucking Mad TV.
Yeah.
Is he the Stewart guy?
I think he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
But he's not.
It literally just dawned on me. Like, I
Yeah.
was like, as I was rolling through the people in my head, I was like, there was another guy in the jewelry store that I recognized, and then I was like, oh.
But he's not jokey at all. But
No.
he's basically like, and then Don's like, oh well, I'm buying my wife here this bracelet. It's really nice. And oh, I don't have my credit. I don't have my wallet. And he's like, oh well, sir, we can put it on your account. And he's like, oh, let me just make sure you got my current address. What do you got in there? And then he gets his address,
Right.
and that's when they go to their place.
Yeah. So that leads them there. Then they get, they're leaving, and they see dudes in the elevator that are like, I mean, they just look like if you went to like Cops R Us to buy your suits.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if you looked up undercover cop suit in the dictionary, or I
Yeah.
don't really have pictures in the dictionary, but you know what I mean.
On Wikipedia.
Yeah,
Good
there's
dictionaries
those
have
little,
pictures, yeah.
annotations with little hand-drawn things,
Yeah.
like boy with
Yeah.
arms akimbo.
Illustrations.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, they see that and they're like, oh, they do the forgotten wallet thing again and take the elevator back up to try to ditch him, but they circle back around and catch him anyway. Leads to a fight, leads to them up on the roof.
I will say it does lead to an off-screen punch.
Yeah.
Because he walks out the door and suddenly just fist off from off screen, bam, right in the chin.
Yeah. It's real dumb. Like, I mean, I don't know how many floors this building had, but like, when you think you're being followed, you went back to the floor where your house is or your apartment was on. Like,
Yeah.
pick random floor. Like, just, just go to random
Yeah.
floor and get off and
Just
avoid
hit all
people.
the buttons.
Yeah.
So nobody
Well, they
can
had
use
like
the
30
elevator.
guys, so
Sure. Anyway, but eventually, after some fighting on the roof, this is when the guy from the 70 show guy is like, freeze. And we're like, oh, gee, those were cops. And we find out that not just cops and they're feds, they're NSA guys.
Yeah.
And
He's
he
like,
was-
you fucking double-crossed us.
yeah, he worked for them until he lost his memory. And they're like, oh, amnesia. Oh, shit, you didn't betray us at all. Okay, here's the story.
Well, he has to verify it with the doctor. And he's like, you really don't know me, do you? He's like, dude, no.
So they're basically like, hey, yeah, you were undercover, blah, blah, blah. Quan was the guy, you infiltrated his gang, triads or something, blah, 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 and you were setting up a deal with State Department guy or something that was going to get plutonium. And
Yeah.
you're the only link. This investigation's been gone while you've been in this coma or whatever, because you're the only link. Quan doesn't know him, and he only knows you, and you have to deal. So you got to get back in there and finish this deal. And they're kind of like giving him a choice, which I guess, to be fair, if you don't remember anything, that's probably a good thing to do.
Yeah, but they do the presumption of sale thing where they're just like, all right, well, are you good to go? Let's do this. And he's like, hold on, I don't know if I'm comfortable with all this.
Yeah.
And as he's kind of hemming and hawing, meanwhile, the triad guy, I guess Quan, was that his name?
That's the top guy, yeah.
Yeah, the top guy has sent in one of his henchmen. He's like, I need you to take care of that. I need you to get rid of him. And the way this guy decides to do it is it's been 3 minutes since an action scene. So they blow up a door, and then it's just fucking Terminator style. Like, just come in and just start shooting literally everyone in this, whatever this building is.
Mm-hmm.
This warehouse full of feds.
Yep.
And man, they use a lot of squibs in this scene, and
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's kind of if it's like the Punisher with Dolph, but
Yeah.
instead of like slot machines, they're people.
Yeah, they are NSA agents. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, and everybody gets wrecked. The only reason Don the Dragon gets away is he gets the jump on the henchman guy, and then the woman is able to hit him in the head with a telephone.
She really rings the fuck out of him with
Yeah, she reaches out
that,
and
that
touches
Bell
somebody.
telephone. Yeah.
Yes, and for those under the age of 40, this is a physical telephone with a line that connects to a wall.
Yeah, so
And there's numbers on it that you would push in order to call someone else.
yeah, so it's very much like your current telephone, only it's
Only
a lot
you would
larger.
use it to talk to people.
You can't get Instagram on it.
Yeah.
If you're a
And-
city folk, it might be like that thing that you pick up when people come to your door. A lot of people
gun?
have buzzers. No, I'm
Oh.
saying people have still have the little phone thing
Oh,
for,
yeah,
for
yeah,
door
okay,
buzzers.
okay.
I know
Yeah.
we're not large
Yes.
city people, but I lived in a place such like
Yeah. But anyway, she clubs the guy. We're like, oh, good, he's dead. He's not dead. But yeah, she clubs him. They escape, and they're literally like the only people that get away. Because even the 70s show neighbor gets fucking gunned down. So
Yeah.
we're like, oh, well, shit, okay. And so they get away, and that's when they get back to the...
Yeah, he has the money that was supposed. They now have a briefcase full of money that was to buy the plutonium. Marked bills. Or I don't even know if they mentioned that or if that's just facts that come later. But
Yeah, it comes later.
yeah. But now they have a suitcase full of money. They run away and hide in the hotel, and this is when they're debating about what to do. And first, it's like, oh, I've never stayed in a hotel because when I wasn't working. And the second one is like, after he overhears her crying in the shower, and is basically like, oh, I can't keep bringing her into this. And he's already decided to give her the bracelet that he bought as a ruse at the jewelry store. So that was already the first nice thing he did. But then he was like, I took several $100s out of the pile of money. It's enough to pay for the hotel room and get you a bus to your aunt in Arizona. Yeah. And you just to keep you safe. And I got to go finish this. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Because he's decided to go through with the plutonium thing. But she's like, no, we're in this together now. We're doing this.
Yeah, we're a team.
Yeah. Like, you'd be dead if it wasn't for me, so I'm sticking around.
Deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I will note she's doing this while just wearing a blanket
A sheet.
because he snuck out in the middle of the night. Yeah. Or not middle of the night. It's the morning, but
In the middle of the morning. Yeah.
yeah, in the middle of
Yeah, the second hooker joke she made is when he said that about I left some money on the dresser, blah blah blah. She's like, oh, I've heard that one before. Yeah,
hooker jokes.
yeah, it's. I don't know.
But yeah,
It's
so
like-
he's
it's like
decided.
it's like gallows humor for the
Yeah.
hookers.
So he's decided to go through with the plutonium deal, but the problem is he doesn't know where or how to do it.
Yeah. The only thing he knows is he has
Two
His-
numbers from his answering machine.
he has his answering machine, and he just doesn't know which one
It's
of
a
those.
tape, which is this magnetic tape.
Yes,
ribbon.
if you were not home,
It's a bunch of plastic on a spool.
Right.
That
and it was
that
very
makes
important
noises.
that you picked a good song to have in the background when you left your message. Said, "Hey, I'm not home right now. Why don't you leave me a message?"
Yeah, like Beethoven's Fifth.
No,
Nobody's home.
Yeah.
or you got like Ronnie Size brown paper bag in the background, like. Dur, 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 dur.
Oh, you just mean like some background vibe
Yeah.
to like show
You
you're
always
cool.
had to have something cool so that people knew that you were cool.
Oh,
It was
See,
very important.
I
Well,
guess
people know
that's
that
what's
I'm
weird
not
is like
cool,
us cool
so-
people didn't do that.
You never know when a girl is going to call and actually leave a message.
I do know, and it's actually never.
It's happened a few times.
Not to me.
Oh, sorry.
Not like that.
Yeah, and they're like, "Hey, where's my money?"
Yeah.
I'm like Bruce Lee over here. I'm so cool and I've mastered cool without trying.
What the fuck is that weird song in the background on your stupid answering machine message?
Is that Ronnie Size? How pathetic are you? Drum and bass? Are you fucking serious right now?
Anyway, stop calling me.
Anyway, he has 2 numbers that he's got from his answering machine. So he goes to the first one, and it's a dry cleaners. And he gets to the counter, he's like, and there's some Chinese guy behind the counter, and he's like, oh, Mr. Stanton. He's like, yeah, I'm here to finish what we started.
I will say one thing about this being from, if this had been the 80s, I think it would have been fair game. I'm still surprised that this was the 90s, and they pull up to a place, and it's Wong's Dry Cleaner, and he literally says, I think this is the place. And nobody says, I think this is the Wong place. I just, like, I mean, come on. It's literally, you wrote half of the obvious joke.
We wrote a bunch of one-liners while watching this movie that are better written than anything that's in this movie. It was
right there. I mean, you get a reveal shot of where they are, establishing shot of where they are. Then he's like, I think we're here. And it's just like, come on.
Yep, but he's like, I'm going in. I'm gonna make the deal. And so he's like, all right. And the guy's like, you're really late. And he's like, well, yeah, I know, but I'm here now, so let's do this. And the guy's like, all right, stay here. I'll be right back. So the guy goes in the back, and then Don is immediately like, what's going on back there? What are you doing? And so
Why does he just walk in?
Well, and he just starts stalking in back there. And then, they've got the camera following him, and then suddenly a hand grabs him on the shoulder, and the guy's like, what are you doing back here?
From a filmmaking's perspective, this is actually kind of good because they switched to that, like, POV over-the-shoulder shot that if you've seen an action movie, you're like, a kick, a punch, or a gun is coming up from off-screen.
They've already done it twice.
Yeah. It is prep for that, and then the guy just goes up and is like, here are your clothes,
he's like, here's your laundry. It's been here 45 days. You were in a fucking coma, you idiot. Yeah. But I like that bit of misdirection because this movie has already trained us. Like every 3 minutes, you're getting an action scene and somebody's getting kicked. Mm-hmm. And they're like, nope. No. It was just actually his dry cleaning. So he's like, I guess we need to try the other number.
I think he went to that other number first, didn't he? The doctor's office?
Oh yeah, he did try to go to the doctor's office, and they told him he had to reschedule, and the doctor wouldn't see him.
Right, and he's like, okay, you can drop the shit. Like, I know what's going on. Let me talk to the doctor.
Yeah, and then she's just like, I can schedule you 3 weeks from now, and he's like, I'll have to get back.
Hey, did you talk to the doctor and tell him I was here? He's like, yeah, and he said make an appointment, like literally everyone else.
Yeah. But and at this point, you're just not sure. He's like, because he gets back outside, he's like, something was wrong. That didn't go. Something was wrong there. Yeah.
And then he realizes that when he played the tape earlier, he had stopped it after one message, and that's where the police had started it. So that they had never played the original message that was on there that he'd already heard, which we heard briefly. Just sounded like a drunk girl, or calling from a club or something with a phone number. But yeah.
But he calls that number, and then he's like, it's Stanton. And they're like, finally.
Yeah.
And he's like, I still want to do the deal. And the guy's like, all right, let's meet the usual place. He's like, the usual place isn't going to work. How about we meet here instead? And so, so they go in a club, and she is sitting kind of like with her back to him in the one booth, and then he's in the other booth.
Oh, it's the classic, like, spy thing, like, back-to-back on a park bench, like, act like you don't know me, and it's like, we're the only two people within, like, 500 yards of each other.
Yeah, but, so that's when the guy, where did we recognize this guy from? Plutonium.
Like I said, I don't know. When he showed up, he had a big bushy beard, big bushy beard, and had glasses on. And like I said, he just looked like 70s Stan Lee. But I don't think I didn't look up like where I actually knew him from. I feel like he was a regular on Seinfeld. Maybe that's the first thing that pops in my head. I don't know.
Was it Dennis Kiefer?
Don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know. But anyway, like it's another one of those guys who are like, yeah, okay, I recognize that guy. But anyway, so he's like, all right, I here. And he opens up the suitcase and it's got like 2 canisters that have a little nuclear symbol on them. He's like, it's plutonium, see? And he's like, all right. And he's like, show me what you got. And then as he's getting the money out, suddenly all of the Kwan's guys are there. And they've got a gun on her.
Right, and we should probably mention there are two sets of Quan guys. I mean, sort of like
Yeah.
there are like two different groups that they send out. Like there's one group that involves the henchman I mentioned earlier that was in Karate Kid 2 and stuff, and then there's another one that has like a short, pudgy but very deadly Asian
He's
dude.
got kind of a professor look to him.
Yeah.
Professor Tanaka look to him, but
Yeah, but he moves sort of like Sammo Hung. He's wily.
Yeah. But so all of a sudden they're in there and they're like, the deal's off. And that's when Don kind of scrambles and he's like, he's lying to you. He just wants it for himself. You know, he doesn't want to pay you for that. And then he's like, no, he's working for the feds. Don the Dragon Wilson is working for the feds. All that money's marked. Don't even try to spend it. They'll track you down immediately. But then he's like, well, you know what? I'm just going to take both the plutonium and the money. And as they're leaving with the girl, that's when and they're escorting Don the Dragon out as well at gunpoint. That's when the dude with Plutonium Man flips over a table, which apparently is a bulletproof table.
I mean, it was like a thick slab table.
It was pretty substantial, but
Movie rules. Tables are generally
Yeah.
bulletproof.
I mean, but to be fair, it's not the standard you fall on it in a Donnybrook and it immediately breaks kind of table.
No, yeah.
This looked like a
no, you're rolling off
Yeah,
that table.
yeah.
it's
that
the
table's-
binary of tables. Either they're
Yeah.
impenetrable or made of tissue paper.
Yes. Yeah. But he flips it and just guns down the dude who's got Don the Dragon at gunpoint. So this just starts fucking another just gun battle in this place. And this guy takes out a bunch of dudes.
yeah, he does.
Like a lot of dudes. And Don grabs he's able to grab both suitcases, chuck them over the bar and then dive behind the bar. And eventually the henchman guy kills Plutonium Man. But they've also killed like a whole bunch of other people in this place. But they take off and they've got the girl.
It's like the Adventures of Pluto Nash. It's
Yeah.
like a bad superhero name.
Yeah. Plutonium Man. I don't know why Don the Dragon gets away.
I don't. Yeah, that's
I
the
think
thing.
he
is,
just
like,
kind of
main
sneaks
character.
out during the gun battle.
there
Kinda.
have been so many like Donnybrooks or
Yeah.
random battles that they just slip away from that it's hard to keep track of
Yeah.
every escape.
Yeah, but from here, I guess he tries to go to the federal office because he's carrying the plutonium and he's carrying the money.
Does he though? Because I mean, like I remember after the warehouse, like the Terminator battle, like he tried to call the NSA and
That's right. He tries to
he
call.
doesn't know how to do anything.
Yeah, he doesn't
because
know
he's
the
got
procedure.
amnesia. That they're just like, sir, fiddle, and he's like, do I sound like an order of fucking pizza? But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're like an NSA agent would know how to check in
Sure.
or some shit like
But
that.
yeah, I think at this point he has no help. But he at some point he goes back to their shitty motel, which apparently they've rented by the week or month or something. But because he stashes both of the suitcases in the drop ceiling.
Yeah, but first he tried to go to the government building,
Does
and
he?
then
Okay.
and then the other two henchmen were there, and then he gets
Yeah.
into
Yeah, that's-
another
that's
fight
right.
there.
Yeah, that's right.
And then
That's when he goes through the metal detector. And,
Yeah,
and
and also
those
beats up,
cameo
like-
guys there.
Yeah, and then also beats up like 25 guards
Yeah.
who come at him with billy clubs.
And I don't think we've mentioned at this point like how many times there are snapping of bones and breaking of necks in his fightings. I mean, they're
Yeah,
Oh my God, there's so much. Well, the Foley God worked on this. so-
yeah, he's the Foley God actually.
But this
I believe
one,
is how he's credited.
This one is like, get a guy's arm bent over his shoulder and then just give us that celery snap sound, and the guy going ah.
Yeah, but he does one.
Or
I
fingers.
Maybe it's I don't remember. It's one of his approach moves when he's sneaking into somewhere. He gets a guy, and I was just like, oh, he's gonna give him the sleep moves, and he's just holding it for like 10 seconds, and then goes the. And I was like, oh, perma sleep. Never mind. I was like, oh, okay.
Once again, Don has gone too far.
But yeah, I don't remember. I think he just escapes out of this situation again somehow.
Yeah, he just kind of beats everyone up and then runs away, and that's when he goes back to the hotel, stashes the money and the plutonium, and then he's like, I got to find the girl.
Yeah, it becomes very confusing because at some point there are several times where he ditches her, and it usually ends badly for her, at least.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she got taken away at gunpoint, and now she's getting tortured by Quan.
Yeah, like with like acupuncture needles in like the eyelids and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's
No,
it doesn't dwell on it. It's not one of those like it's not torture porn, but
Yeah.
it's there long enough to have a trigger warning if you happen to piece this up.
Yeah, it's gross. But yeah, so we know she's being tortured by this guy, and Dawn finds them somehow. I don't even know how. I don't even care anymore.
Yeah, I don't remember. I feel like he went back to get her, realized she was gone, did the whole like set up the bad guys to come in the room with the shower thing, and then maybe just grabbed one of them and was like, "Where is she?" Or I feel like he grabs Quan himself and makes him take her back to her.
Yeah, because he somehow finds where they're holding her.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how.
I don't
anymore.
remember.
Yeah,
either.
I remember
Just
there
so
was a
much
thread of like if
I
if
just
she's
know that-
hurt, you're dead kind of thing.
Yeah, and Quan basically Quan brings him to the door, but then is able to pull a gun on him and he's able to disarm him, but then Quan runs away,
Right.
and he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna
Yeah, it's very
gonna
strange.
save her.
It seems like I'm gonna let the bad guy go for Act 3. It's more important to check on the girl.
yeah.
But he goes in to check on her. She's he's kind of like shaking her conscious.
I do like that he goes, get away from the door, and you hear from behind the door a second later, all right, I'm away. It's like the Foley guy's like, we needed to hear that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like he's checking on her, and Quan comes back in the room with a gun like nearly immediately, and I was like, oh, okay, we're
I mean,
sort of wrapping this
You know
up.
what? It's a smart move on Quan's part.
I guess.
Problem is, he doesn't bust open the door and just start gunning because she goes, "Oh my god!" and Don has time to turn around and gun him down. And we're like, "There's nobody left at this point." Like literally every tie to everything has been gunned down in this movie.
Oh,
Almost.
You would think that.
Yeah.
until
Almost.
it's time for the quadruple cross. I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah,
how many times
because
we've changed
he
directions.
kills Quan, and we're like, "All right." And so he takes her to the hospital, and he's like, "I have an idea how to finish this." She's like, "Wait, don't go," and he's like, "No, I got to do this." And so he breaks into some government office. I don't even know where.
He goes back to the same one. 'Cause
Okay.
it featured the same
It's
metal
the
detector.
NSA.
He
Yeah.
stuck a
Okay.
trash like a metal trash can
Oh,
or
yeah.
ashtray or something in the metal detector. This is the time he gives the perma sleep because it's the guy that comes to investigate. He grabs him by the neck and does holds him long enough and then does the yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So he's searching, and he's found his file, and he's starting to go through it. And then she comes in and is like, "Hey,
Well,
stop."
I believe Steve James is the first one that speaks.
No. She goes. She comes in the door and says, "I found him."
Oh right.
And then that's when Steve James walks in. And you're like, "Hey, you got shot." And he's like, "Yeah, a lot of people died today, didn't they?" And he's like, "Well, okay." And then he's with
Fucking airbags.
yeah, and he's with the two Quan dudes. The two dudes that have been hassling him from the beginning of the movie, basically. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing with them?" And he's like, "Oh, you don't even know, man. Took a lot of work to set all this up." And this is kind of when like Steve James just starts chewing scenery, really.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, he basically.
he's
You
like-
guys have to tell it.
I mean, like,
because he goes, "All right." He's like, "Oh, I thought I was working for who are you guys?" They're like, "Oh, well, we're the government." And he's like, "Well, I thought I was working for the government." He's like, "Nope, you were a bad guy. You were always a bad guy. You were working for the triads, and we had you dead to rights, and then you got away."
yeah, we were interrogating you, and
Yeah, and
we're in our shitty interrogation room that has an outdoor window attached.
yeah. And he's like, but then when we realized that you actually did have amnesia, we said, "Here's the perfect chance to get all our shit back and get that plutonium." And he's like, "You're full of shit. Fuck you." Because he's like, "What? Because where's the plutonium?" He's like, "No, fuck you. I'm not telling you." And then that's when they're like, "All right." And they show him the video of him being interrogated and him like admitting to killing his wife and, just laughing and being a dick, basically.
Yeah, it's all the stuff we saw in Shadow Fisting from earlier. It wasn't boxing. But yeah, and then we see basically that play out and then him jump through the window and then
Yeah. And then he's like, "Oh shit." And that's when they're like, "All right, well, we're arresting you. If you're not going to help us, fuck you. We'll find the plutonium ourselves." And so they lock him up in a jail cell, and it's kind of like, "All right, I guess that's it."
oh yeah, and she was in it the whole
Well,
time. She's not
yeah.
a sex worker. She's a
Secretary.
yeah. Well, no, she's one of the federal agents, I guess, and
Mm-hmm.
put undercover to basically be his handler.
Yeah, they tell him she was your tour guide.
Yeah.
And from here, she talks to Steve James once, I think, and she's like, "Oh, what are we gonna do with him?" He's like, "Oh, well, he's going to jail. Like, he's a piece of shit." And he's like, but he's changed. Like he actually did help me, and he cared about me. And Steve James is like, did you fuck him or something? She's like, no. I thought about it, but no.
No.
It is an interesting moral question. I mean, it's not something we have to get into, but like in an unlikely scenario like this, like notorious criminal were to lose all of their memory certifiably by trained medical professionals, are they still accountable for what they did? I mean, are they the same person? It's an interesting ethical question.
I feel like this has probably
I
happened
think
before.
they would.
Yeah.
And
I think they still would.
I don't know.
Otherwise, everyone would pretend to have amnesia.
Well, I mean, that's same thing with people with, like, temporary insanity plea. Everyone was like, oh, everyone's going to use that, but it's like, it really didn't work for too many. I mean, it's worked for some people, but like,
also, amnesia is incredibly rare.
sure.
Right.
As I said, in the incredibly rare case that, like, it was proven, I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, we've always treated, like, criminally insane people different than, like, true criminals, but like if it was proven that, like, something was actually wrong, broken in your brain, you had it fixed, and it was like, oh, that was literally what was making you do that, are you still liable for what you did? I don't know.
That's for the courts to decide.
That's one for the
Buster.
Supreme Court.
Just not this Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Yes, that Supreme Court would just decide. Whatever the worst
Yeah.
option is what the Supreme Court would
Yeah.
decide.
Do we
at
have
this
to have a
point.
trial?
Yeah. We don't need trials anymore.
We're just repealing a bunch of amendments because of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Minority Report? We like that movie for several reasons.
Yeah.
Not
But
least of
only
which
in
was the
specifics-
title.
Yeah.
Jesus.
We do want to report on all the minorities. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, in this movie, Steve James decides, hey, we're not letting any future crimes happen either.
right.
Because they basically jump. Well, she stops by, tells Don Dragon Wilson, hey, I actually did want to help you. I did have an aunt in Arizona or whatever.
Right.
And she just kind of leaves. And then Steve
I don't know
James,
if we mentioned that before, but she told him earlier that she lied about having an aunt in Arizona, etc.
Which was part of her cover to get to stay with him.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway, she apologizes for how things went down. She's like, yeah,
I really do have an aunt. Thanks for the bling. Bye.
yeah, and well, she's like, I think you helped me. I can only judge you by that, but then she leaves because he's in jail. From there, they
She goes back later to get the bracelet, I believe.
yeah, well, yeah, she's doing paperwork or some shit because now she's like dressed like an actual government agent.
Like a Fed.
But Steve James and his two guys are suddenly in the cell, putting tape on Don the Dragon's mouth and handcuffing him.
Yeah, they're giving him the code red.
Yeah, and they're like, "Yeah, you're never going to trial, motherfucker. Like we're done with you." Like they wouldn't let this is not we're not taking any chances with Harlow's little moral question shit.
Sure,
we're ending this here.
Sorry, I'm a damn bleeding heart.
Yeah. But so yeah, they are escorting him outside, and that's when she comes back, and she's just like, I just wanted to return the bracelet to him, and he's like, oh, he's sleeping right now, so maybe come back in the morning. Everything's gonna be just fine, just perfectly fine.
Yeah,
as fine as anything can
I
possibly
changed my mind,
be.
In fact, actually, I you know what? I'm taking him to my grandmother's house, and he's going to live on a farm. He's going to be great. Yeah. All the other Don the Dragons are there.
Yep. And so they take him to another warehouse, and apparently the way they're going to execute him is they start up a boat motor, and they are pushing his face towards the boat motor.
That's not just rude; it's Evan rude.
Yeah.
They should just start up a gun and kill him with the gun.
Yeah, no, they're just like, we know about that lazy eyelid of yours. We're going to make you have a lazy face with this propeller. And
It's a bad idea.
as they're doing this, of course, he's able to do something that gets one of them, that knocks one of them away. And then he immediately puts the handcuffs into the boat propeller, which cuts them.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And then from there, he...
His handcuffs were made of manatee.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he runs away. And they're like, oh, God, we got to find him, And that doesn't work. He basically just predators them, He's snapping necks.
Yeah.
He's Metal Gear Soliding them. He does get shot by Steve James in the shoulder because, of course, like if you're going to get shot in any of these movies, it's going to be in the shoulder.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good place to get shot. Feels nice.
Yeah, it's
I
left,
feel like
left
with-
shoulder, and he loves to punch with his right. So
Correct.
his right is the actual Bloodfist.
Correct.
I feel like there should have been a secondary storyline just for Greg, the Foley God or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Like he should have had like a metal plate in his head, and when he gets shot, it literally just goes ding off the same spot. Like that would have been a nice touch. And they're also explaining why he could have survived a gunshot and continue to fight, and just have, but also leave a blood trail. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so the Foley God doesn't work with metal.
Oh no, he doesn't. Okay.
No, it's only meat and produce.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I see.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he kills the other two dudes, and then eventually just has to fight Steve James on the roof.
Yeah, he gets a slight drop on him, and then Steve James grabs random
grabs a pipe.
yeah
he's got a
bar
big pipe.
that's there, and just is like, yeah, I know kung fu too, and
Yeah, Steve James has it. I mean, it's kind of a funny line. He's like, I know some of that karate shit too, and then they start to fight. It's not very. It's not a terribly exciting fight.
no.
I don't think. Like most of this movie, not much of it is terribly exciting.
Yeah, it's not the fighting is not.
It's not the end to
Great.
Steve James's career that we want.
No.
But the end to Steve James's career that we wanted would be he's 150 years old and has made 1,000 kicking people in the face movies.
Yes, but would that I not live to see the end of Steve James's career?
Yes.
Is what I wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he does look gaunt.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, he still
it's
looks
not
like
bad.
he can.
He still looks like Steve James.
fight.
but-
Yeah, but he just looks. He looks worn down. Is the only way to put it. But he's
And-
still he still does the fight scenes.
Sure,
It's
yeah.
not like he was enfeebled or anything, and they just had some did pull up Wesley Snipes in Blade type thing, where it's just like having another
Right,
dude
shoot him
stand
from
in-
the
Yeah,
back,
it's not
yeah.
another terrible mullet wig. On,
No, it's
given to
definitely
this character
Steve
so that
James
you could get someone else
doing the
it, yeah.
majority of the scenes. But it's very brief, and then eventually he's able, he's pulled a knife and he's about to stab him, and that's when
He gets
you hear
shot
gunshots.
Yeah.
Yep, and of course it's her. And he's like, "You're throwing it all away," and she says something like, "No, I'm picking it back up." It's one of those things like, this doesn't even make any sense, lady. Like,
one of those. This fucking writer was really proud of it, but it's actually
But
quite stupid.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everything I've ever written.
pretty much. Yeah, and then Don the Dragon's like, "Oh, well, what's what are we doing?" And
What are we?
yeah, and he's like, "Well, what happens now? What are you gonna do?" And she's like, "How can I prove to you I'm on your side?" She opens up the trunk. It's got the suitcase full of money.
Yep.
And then she kisses him, and then they end the movie.
And then we get love theme from Bloodfist 5 Human Target.
Yeah. It's weird. It's a weird movie, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's made better because it's so weird, because they don't want to wait for anything. They're like, action, action, action. And it actually kind of works as far as the plot-wise goes, because you're so disoriented, and it puts you in
Yeah.
the... But, I mean, it's honestly, it kind of works like the character is. It's one of those things where that actually suits the movie that they've created.
It makes you feel confusion.
And I don't know if it would be more or less confusing if we had watched the other Fists of Blood 1 through 4.
Yes,
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If we had watched them recently and knew that we didn't need to be trying to find a plot thread to earlier movies that we hadn't seen,
Yeah.
I think we'd have
As
been
someone
okay.
who has, that's why I gave you the.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while
No
for
answer
you, though.
to
Yeah.
would it? I don't know. That's not the proper answer.
Yeah. But either way, that works for me. I like the misdirection of that one scene where it's like you're expecting yet another action scene, and they're like, nope, it's just the guy with his dry cleaning.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's kind of a sad place for Steve James' career to end. But thank God he came back for the end of that movie.
Yeah, because otherwise it would have been a 4-minute cameo.
Like, I texted Chuck in the middle of the movie. I'm like, man, is Steve James' last movie really just a long cameo?
Mhm.
And Chuck's like, yeah, well, he was really sick when they were filming. A little misdirection from old Chuck
Yeah,
there,
good
too.
job, Chuck.
Yeah, good misdirection on that one, buddy.
Yeah. Chuck, do you have an aunt in Arizona?
Yeah.
I need to know.
Are you Nas Darkly?
Yes, he is. We know.
Yeah.
We've already discussed
Oh,
this.
we have. Yeah, we have. Never mind.
He's also Charles Barkley.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And
Weird.
Gnarls Barkley.
Yeah.
Mhm. But he comes back and he turns out to be the main bad guy of the movie.
Mhm.
I still don't understand like the connection between any of the other groups, like who those NSA guys were, like how they were tied into everything Steve James.
Which NSA guys?
Like-
his henchmen?
Bob.
No,
Bob from that.
Oh,
70s
the
show.
other.
yeah,
they,
like
they
the
were
whole
not. That's
the
what I'm
whole
saying.
dude, the whole group that got slaughtered.
I don't think they were. I mean, I don't
So
think
they
were
thought
connected.
he was still a triad, or whatever.
I think Steve James walked in and was like, I'm like way up the chain in the NSA or whatever. I don't think these guys would have like known him or been aware of anything he was doing.
Mhm.
They were just other, for lack of a better term, like street level undercover agents.
Yeah.
I think it was just like, that's what they were dealing with. And they
Yeah,
didn't
but
really
it's
know
also
what-
weird because he's like, dude, you like to party. We've partied before. We'll have to go out once this is all over again. So it's like it's very odd. Like, and it's one of those things where you, the more you think about it, you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense either. But
It's all part of the cover, I guess.
I guess.
Like just trying to appeal to a dudely nature.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he really did have a wife.
Well, it sounded like
Wait, no, he killed his wife. He did say
he claimed
killed
he
his
might have killed her as he laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
Well, no, actually, hold on. My entire logic just fell apart as I thought about it for 2 seconds. Because
much like
his
this
his entire backstory wouldn't make any sense. If the guy if Don the Wilson is like actually was a criminal and his entire reality is fabricated, he didn't have a best friend from that '70s show that worked in the NSA and liked to party and
Right, but that was part of the ruse.
right. That's what I mean.
the
I mean,
whole time.
I was just saying that like my explanation doesn't make any sense. They'd have to be in on it.
That's later than usual.
I mean, sorry, just when I hear it that bad on the
Yeah.
headphones, it's... yeah, no, they had to have been in on the ruse because otherwise they had to have the part of the planet backstory, which,
Right.
yeah, who knows? I don't know. He does mention that, something about Don Wilson like casually mentions like, well, at least it'll happen nice and easy. He's like, oh, if you call like losing a warehouse full of men easy, I guess so. So I guess
Yeah.
they were his people, but probably not in on the whole. It seemed like they maybe just came up with a very shady, sketchy, questionably morally questionable way to have a sleeper agent.
Mhm.
But beyond that, I don't know that they were privy to like the double cross. We're just going to kill him when it's over and take the shit.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I mean, I don't think any of them expected it to turn out this way. So
Right, so
Yeah.
anywho, that's not debate
Anywho.
anymore.
At least Steve James is in it.
Yeah.
I'm going 2 jocks. It's not terrific, but it's not like I enjoyed watching it, and I think it sounds really weird to say, but it's actually elevated a little bit by the script and just being like all the double crossy weird shit going on. Like for me, that stuff worked, even if it doesn't make any sense. I still liked it.
I feel a Siskel and Ebert moment coming on here.
Yeah, let's do it.
well, I mean, I feel like it's trying too hard.
It is. But I'll say this. I feel like this is the best Don the Dragon Wilson movie we've seen.
Is it?
Name a better one.
I can't name any of them.
There you go.
So I
Maybe
can,
the
Bloodfist
most
3,
recent-
I won't be
Bloodfist
able
3
to-
was far superior.
Maybe the most recent Don the Dragon one we've seen is always the best one we've seen.
that's correct. That is the
Yes.
Don the Dragon Wilson.
Don the
Dragon.
ephemeral dragon was.
Don the fading Dragon Wilson.
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever liked Don the Dragon Wilson in anything really.
Yeah. I don't like him in this.
He
He's
might be able
not
to
good.
look. Don't come for me, aka don't at me in real life with your fists. But I don't I don't get a good impression of Don the Dragon Wilson fighting in general. Like, I know he was a real life fighting champion of some sorts, but I just
I mean, that could be who he surrounds himself with.
maybe it's his choreographers, his fight choreographers, but he just never looks good doing it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's probably because he wants to punch people for real.
Well, I mean, honestly, that's why. I mean, I hate to always use him as an example, but name me someone else who has like a 60-year career. But I mean, Jackie Chan basically got into either A, completely directing the movie himself, or at least like 100% directing the fight choreography. Because he got to where, watching his early work, he was like, that is the completely wrong way to showcase that. You cut away before the actual fall or the hit or whatever. And it's like, so he just saw what they were doing wrong and, taught himself the right way.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm going to go one Jocks, and that Jocks is exclusively for Steve James because I appreciate him.
My Cisco, well, did you give a rating? I'm sorry.
One Jocks.
Oh, okay.
Literally just one.
Single Jocks.
A single Steve James shaped
I'm
Jocks.
not full on Siskel and Eberting, and like I don't have a full like argument to have. It's just kind of funny that like it seems like what you like about it is what I think is the weakest part, and I'm just saying like for me,
No, man.
well like what I saw it promise in was actually the directing and the lighting. Not so much in a lot of the scenes, especially the outdoor stuff, but like the pacing and the movement between this crazy interwoven story, I thought was very well done. Like I could see this person taking a better script and making an interesting spy movie, or even at least just like a Crime Keeper, like 2 Days in the Valley or something, where with like lots of interconnecting plots that all like have to come together, and I could see them like taking that and handling it pretty well. And I feel like, like I don't know if Roger Corman or if this was just like, here's a couple dollars, put my name on it. I don't know how involved he was in anything at this point, but like, we know that he used to use his shit films as a, like a proving ground. The minor leagues of filmmaking. That's why we got people like James Cameron and Joe Dante and stuff come through the Roger Corman camp. And I don't know why I just named the two Piranha directors and nobody else that's ever made a Roger Corman movie, but yeah, I'm saying. So I don't know if like this was like, hey, you seem like you were interested in making these multi-thread directing movies. Here's this wacky little script we got. Take a crack at it. Who's to say?
Well, nobody else thought that about him, and that man is Jeff Jonas.
Never worked again.
He did 4 other things. Humanoids from the Deep, which is a TV movie. Born Bad, whatever that is. An episode of Black Scorpion.
Oh.
And My Fantastic Field Trip to the Planets, a direct-to-video something.
Well, I'm just saying he showed some promise in that.
Oh, God, this looks like total ass.
Yeah.
Just little touches like the misdirection into the dry cleaning scene and things like that. Just little things where you feel like you're working towards one thing and it's oh shit, okay. And that's usually handled very poorly in a movie of this level. I just thought it was done pretty well. I thought like if you think about any of the through lines is what makes the script bad, not necessarily the words on paper, if it makes any sense. Like what they're saying and what they're doing isn't necessarily so bad, but if you think about the whys and the hows and stuff, it just falls apart. Sort of like, I mean, everything can be capable of that. I mean, look at The Dark Knight. That is a quadruple, quintuple A movie if you want to, that is a huge movie that, like I said, if you really look at that script for half a second, it's like, no.
We still like it, but yes.
Yes, that's what I mean. It's just...
It's one of those scripts that relies on every single coincidence going right.
Right, yes. Impossibilities, yeah. I mean, like, like Indiana Jones, later Indiana Jones movies or later Jurassic Park movies where it's just like, oh, I don't know, boop, 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 boop. I fell in exactly the right place. That's great.
Yep. So what was your rating on this?
Oh, I didn't give it. Yeah, I would say like the 2 Jocks is, or did you say 2 or 3?
I said 2.
Yeah, I think that's fairly fair. I just like I said, what piqued my interest about it was something a little bit different. Like I thought this script was generally kind of trash, but like I liked it. I liked its ambitiousness, but like I said, I just think like what was being said like left so many things open for doing it better.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this just felt like the kind of movie that I know we were always like, where are the one-liners? But God, this just felt like a movie that needed it.
Yeah, it really did. And the ones that were in there are
They're
not
bad.
great.
Yeah. So, but yes, I agree.
well.
Don the Dragon Wilson is very monotone, boring.
More like Don the Drag Wilson, am I
Yeah.
right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Mon the Dragon Wilson, because it's so monotone. He's just like, look at me, I'm gonna fight you now. What are you doing? We have to get out of
Well,
here, God damn it.
He also kind of does a lot of talk like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sort of half yelling.
Yeah. The anti-Reb Brown.
Right.
Yeah, Reb commits.
Yeah.
Commit, Don.
Commit, Don.
Saratoga, lady.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing there.
He said that to Steve James.
God damn, Steve James is the best.
Saratoga Blade?
Yeah. Steve James is the best. We miss him.
Yeah. Man, Reb Brown's up there, though.
Yeah.
Aside from those Captain
Well,
America
like-
movies that suck.
Okay. That's Reb Brown. Like that's just his. He's one note.
Yeah.
He's got that and
It's a great
literally
note.
nothing. Okay, he has two notes. He also looks the part, but
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, he's got no charisma. He is the negative Rizzler.
What, Reb Brown, you think?
I think so.
Oh, I don't agree. I
Nah.
don't know. I don't feel that
I like
about
Reb.
him. Yeah.
Give me more Reb. I need more Reb in my life.
I feel like he's had, maybe not as strong, but I feel like he has similar charisma to like Gary Busey, where it's like you're just kind of sitting there waiting to see what is going to come out of his mouth that doesn't sound quite right, or is too loud,
fair.
or
Yeah.
just a strange expression on his face while he's saying something that doesn't meet what it's, it's not in the same tone. Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like Reb Brown's thing is his just an outburst 50 or 60 times. But Gary Busey is always just over and under modulating. Just he's always you never know what you're going to get with Gary
Well,
Busey.
later Busey, it's like Al Pacino, where he just eventually became the caricature of himself.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, I mean, you can go back to Heat, and it's like it's not all like totally yelling. There's some very quiet scenes in that movie. You know.
Yeah.
worse than God, butthorn. Man. Finger blast from a butthorn. Remember that classic BMFcast moment?
Yeah. We've had some good titles.
We're, as you know, we're wrapping it up. So if you want to share some of your favorite BAMcast moments with us, or just say anything that you've been meaning to say for the last 15 years and haven't been able to gin up the charm, then now's your time.
You're
Get
running
it.
out of time.
Get it on digital paper by emailing us at bmf@bmfcast.com, or get it on audio paper by giving us a call on the Garfield phone, 9105-JOCKS-BMF, or 910-556-9263, or find another way to get in touch with us. Just look at the website. There's a bunch of ways there. If you want to get in touch with us with a little bit of your money, we still have the Patreon running. Right now it's patreon.com/BMFcast.
Yeah. We still have stuff for it. We'll be talking about that soon.
Yeah. And so we have just a few more episodes left to go.
Yeah.
Hopefully we all survive it.
Yeah, that'd be something, right?
Wouldn't it? There's a fucking cruise missile strike right on the
Yeah.
studio, right in the middle of episode
Yep.
699 or something.
Just burn it down.
The government is going to shut us up from shutting up.
I don't know. I just think it's funny. It's like it's like the Titanic hitting an iceberg right at outside Liberty Island.
Yeah, right?
Oh fuck.
Yep.
Anyway, something about what you said made me think about do people people ever referred to like traditional letter writing as tree mail?
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
It's a good
Is it?
term.
Okay, I just seems like a thing that we should call it now.
Yep.
I know people say snail mail and stuff, and it's like that's
Right.
boring.
There's no actual snails
No,
involved in.
but tree mail seems pretty
Tree mail,
fun.
yeah.
Anyway,
I should write people handwritten letters.
I was actually thinking about that the other day. Like
we should all take
but
a
then-
calligraphy class together.
Yeah, but then I looked at my handwriting and I was like, I should not write people.
That's why I have to go
letters.
take the calligraphy class.
Yeah.
Because if I want to do that, it's
Yeah, but I always you can't send me calligraphy because I always get really confused when you use the F instead of an S thing. It's very complicated.
What you do is you just write your normal ass cursive, but you use a calligraphy pen.
Hey, just trust
Oh, okay.
me. When
With
it
the-
ends in
with the
UCK,
angled nib.
either one's fine.
Okay, good to know.
I like it.
Anyway, shall we get out of here?
Yeah. let's do it.
Yeah, I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ, and this is BMFcast out. Bye.
Good night. Chuck said, I got to go to bed, but I am not Nas Darkly. Good night.
You shouldn't end your day on a
Does that
lie,
make
Chuck.
you crazy? He's Nas Barkley.
I remember when they told you what that
How is
first
there a
time.
comment from 2 months ago on this? I love Theo Vaughn. Great appearance.
Wait, what? Comment on what from 2 months?
On the live stream. There's a comment down there.
No, there isn't.
Who's Theo Vaughn?
I don't believe you.
What's a Theo Vaughn?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. You're gonna make me Google. I hope it's not a porn star.
That
or
must
something.
be a glitch.
Oh, okay. No, it's a comedian apparently.
Yeah, that's got to be a glitch. Got to be a YouTube glitch.
What? He's a guy that looks like a less smart Dax Shepard, if that's possible.
He looks kind of like one of the Barbarian brothers when he's got like the mullet haircut.
Is he in a Bamfcast movie?
I don't know.
No idea. This
He
is
also looks like the guy from Electric Six.
kinda does.
I'm sorry, it's weird. That's a weird reference, but
Wait, is our Bill Williamson? Is that Bill?
Bill.
Bill's here.
Bill's here.
I don't know.
Zoe.
I'm very confused now. And why did Valve give up making games? I mean, I know Steam
Oh, a
makes
long
them $1
time
billion,
ago.
What
but
about
like,
Half-Life Alex?
That's the last game that Valve made.
What
and
about
yeah, and apparently the
well-
Idle Thumbs guys worked on it.
what was their
on Alex.
what was their like Hearthstone wannabe thing that they did?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, it's because they make money on Dota.
Yeah.
But like, if you've got all this money, just like pay a fucking
They don't-
team to make the game.
They don't
like-
have to make a game. They can just let people fuck around until a game accidentally falls out once every
Also,
6 years.
Like the fact that like if they made money off of Dota, that is really weird. Like I that feels morally wrong. Like you created a mod for another game and then you turned it into its own thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just seems.
I think
fucked
didn't
up
they
in a
buy
way.
out the other game or something?
Yeah.
They bought out
Well-
Warcraft from Blizzard.
No,
Oh.
no, they made Dota 2, and that's what they
Yeah, no,
they work
the
with
first
now.
Dota was based on Warcraft
Yeah.
3.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. I
it's
gotcha.
very confusing to say the least.
That's
but-
all right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot what game it was based off of. So, yeah, Dota 2, the one that they're making money off of,
Oh, it's an original
doesn't
thing,
have any.
but I
I-
mean,
any
yeah, it's
Blizzard IP. Yeah,
I'm just saying, it's a. I don't know.
it's like making a tech demo with
It's similar to me, like the
pre-existing assets and then monetizing the real one when you can make your own assets.
Who was that fucking mobile company that, like, anytime there was a popular small game, they made a clone and made $1 billion off of it?
Tencent,
No, that's the China company. Then they do all kinds of things.
Zynga.
Zynga, was that it? That might have been it. That sounds familiar because like
Yeah.
they did like
Zynga was like Farmville and shit like
Well,
that, right?
Yeah.
that maybe that's not it. But I mean, they were the ones that like did they were like Kairosoft or whatever did that game dev story, and then they
Yeah.
did that
Game Dev Tycoon.
or whatever, and it made like $1 billion, and it's like it's a complete rip off of this other game. I think they did the same thing with Threes. Like Threes was popular, and they made
Yeah, like
whatever
Was
the,
it
the top
2048?
number.
2048?
Yeah, whatever the top number was the name of it or something.
God, threes is still by far the best one.
God, Game Dev story was so good.
Yeah, I found out that like Kairosoft made a whole bunch of other ones of those. There's like Burger Town Story or something.
Yeah,
and
there's a whole
other
bunch
ones,
of-
and
yeah.
actually they're all on the Xbox now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I was like, at first when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, and then I was like, this would probably be terrible to play with a controller now. I think about it. Like I was thinking about like all the little tappy things you used to have to do in it, and I'm like, it's probably just one of those like dumb cursor as a mouse thing with your joystick.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Or you just D-pad around to
Who knows? Yeah.
thing. I don't know.
I mean, I can't say anything. I'm playing that Dune Spice Wars, and that clearly was not optimized for controllers, but I'm still playing it.
You're still giving it your best.
Yeah. No reason to. I have 100% achievements, but
Yeah.
other than, that old reason for playing games of, I enjoy it.
I started playing a couple games recently. This is, I guess, 10 minutes of no quarters.
Yay.
Yeah, I haven't played a video game in like 10 years or whatever, but I've played Overcooked and Overcooked 2. Those are both hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
They do. They accelerate quickly.
There's no accelerating quickly. It just instantly goes from 0 to 1,000,000, and it's a great way to discover if you're going to hate the absolute shit out of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Really easy way to, like, if you meet somebody and you're like, I don't know about them, play Overcooked with them. You will find out 100% what you think about that person
Gonna learn.
and how you will get along with
I
them.
mean, isn't that the one where you just, like, you make a burger, like, give me a bun, give me the lettuce, give me the, you like, put it together, right?
Yeah.
Or it's like, go grab
Yeah.
the 4 ingredients, put it over here, and put it on the
Yeah,
plate, and it
yeah.
becomes a thing, take it over here and serve it, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just...
But it's high stress and chaotic.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, are you saying, like, in a multiplayer scenario, like, they just
Yeah,
they
oh,
suck
yeah.
at picking things up or something? Or is that what
You're
mean?
just going to find out their everything about their personality, because it's...
And you're not gonna like it.
You might really get along with somebody that way, but if there's something you're not going to like about that person, you will discover it playing Overcooked within probably within 30 minutes. It's like you can get 1 and 2 combined for like $15, so it's a great evaluator of a person. Just like first date, play Overcooked, and if you survive the first 30 minutes, then you guys are going to be fine.
And well done.
That's it. Also, Raft, which is one of them survival / crafting / building games. You're on a piece of wood in the middle of the ocean, and you must not die.
Don't know how your relationship is going? Use Overcooked as your medium.
Raft is chill. I like
Find
Raft.
that rare special someone.
Like I started playing it on normal, and normal is way too hard, and I have no shame anymore, so I bopped it down to easy, and it is a delightful little game.
Yeah, I realized that I never really played much, if any, Slay the Spire on the Xbox. I did almost 100% on the PC, and since it's on Game Pass, I was like, well, fuck. I also totally remember, like, it took me like 3 runs before I remembered my completely unbreakable strategy. Like, it is like,
Nice.
you will win, not just win, you will decimate every single time. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's like a deck of like 12 cards, and if you can get them and get them upgraded, it's game over for everything in that game.
Well, now you have to do challenge mode, or challenge yourself mode.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I have a weird thing where sometimes I just enjoy the endless loop of a thing without much difficulty. I don't know what that is, but
Yeah.
that's why I've played Hades like 3,000 runs.
God, Hades is so fucking good.
So good.
I saw there's another one that everyone is saying like, oh man, this might be the best Hades I like yet, and it just popped out of my head, but it's no, Cult of the Dead Gods was a pretty good one, but that's not it. There's another one that just came out somewhat recently that I want to say it's like a King
Cult of the
King
Dead Gods.
Arthur-y.
That's the one with the lamb, right?
I
Is that the one where you
I
build your little like cult and you go?
I think isn't that Cult of the Lamb? Isn't that what it's called?
Is it Cult of the Lamb?
I
Oh,
think
you're
so.
thinking Curse of the Dead Gods.
Yeah, Curse of the
Okay,
Dead Gods.
all right.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. But
Sure.
Cult of the Lamb's pretty.
Cult of the Lamb is also roguelike.
Yeah. Yeah. There's that.
Roguelike.
There's also there's one that's like Vampire Survivors, Spirit Hunters, Infinite Horde.
Mm-hmm.
That one's pretty good. Too.
Yeah, I think
It's very anime-ish though.
The,
I mean, not.
these. I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. The mental issues that are prevalent among the Vampire Survivors creator have basically turned me off of that game.
Wait, what?
I'm saying that person has issues. Like I'm just saying, like people that are like want to keep making a thing and it's never done. That unfinished sense of like, I don't know.
Is there something he said, or is it
no,
just like?
it's just the fact that like I realize that like
He keeps adding shit.
there's like micro DLC like every other week, and it's like and it adds like 50 more achievement points, so you're never gonna have like 100% in that game or something.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just saying like the fact that it's like
Well, that is
almost like
interfacing with your own.
almost like an
mental illness.
well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying like it's almost like an MMO. Like I just at a certain point I just want to be done with the game. Like be that however you want to measure it. Like, I don't need
Yeah.
eternal content. I just don't need that.
Yeah.
And make a sequel.
Then don't play any new games.
Well, that's these games as a
Those
service
are
things
all
I'm
fucking
basically avoiding.
live service shit.
Yeah.
I think he's going to make another game,
Okay.
Vampire Survivors guy.
Sure. But as soon as I started reading like the slightest of reviews, I was like, I talked myself out of that Suicide Squad game, and I was like, oh yeah, well fuck all that. That sounds exactly like what I don't want. Sounds like that shitty Gotham Knights game, which is on Game Pass if you do want to suffer.
Yeah, I might give it a shot. just
Also,
to see it.
I think I was saying something about the latest NBA 2K game, like being how shitty it was. It just popped up in Game Pass, and I still don't give a fuck. I still will not install it.
You're like, no.
The only reason I started playing the one I'm on now is when they shut the servers down for the last one. I mean, I think when they do it for this one, I'm just going to be done with the fucking series. Honestly, I mean, that's how bad I think the new one is. Like, I just,
Wow.
yeah. I was like, I've apologized or made myself this far, and it just like that last one when I tried the demo, I was like, oh fuck no, like this is so bad. But on the other side of like things that I shouldn't have enjoyed as much as I did, I played the 10-hour demo thing that EA gives you for the latest UFC game. Fuck man!
Yeah.
And then when that shows up
good.
on Game Pass, I'm gonna
no.
be playing some more of that. It scratched that need, that Fight Night champion need something fierce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or not champion, but just Fight Night games in general. I mean, I know there's kicking and stuff too, but I mean, and I could do without the grapple stuff. I mean, I think there's actually a way to play a mode where it's like all the ground submission stuff is gone. It's basically just a
Just stand up
kickboxer
fighting.
game, yeah. But yeah, that's the animations and stuff in that have gotten really, really good. And story mode was actually kind of fun. I like that they were basically finally like, it's UFC. We know our fucking target audience. We don't need to make an E for everyone game. Let's just make an M-rated game. And so the story mode's like, get the fuck in there, get back in, fight.
Nice.
It was just like, all right, yeah, this makes much more sense. I mean,
I like it.
yeah.
Yeah, all I play is like pinball, or I try to get back in Elden Ring, and I go, oh shit, I have no idea where I am or what I need to do, and so I shut it off.
I still want to do the Baldur's
And then I
Gate
just start
thing
painting
at some
again.
point, but part of me also doesn't want to. Like, I mean, like it seems daunting at the same time. Like maybe it's too much or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I haven't messed with Baldur's Gate. I don't care.
I'd like to, but
I mean, I kind of do care, just a tiny bit, just like
But yeah, I mean, God,
a quarter of a percent.
I hate that I keep saying this because I sound like a fucking advertisement, but I'm constantly shocked what shows up on Game Pass, like and how fast sometimes it does.
Oh, yeah.
I'm waiting for that shoe to drop any day when they're like, it's $50 a month now. Yeah.
I would, honestly, I'm surprised it's only whatever it is right now, 17, I think.
Yeah,
I keep buying prepaid ones.
they keep creeping it up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they will keep creeping it up for a while until it'll probably be like $25.
Yeah,
a
well, it
month.
was at the point where they stopped letting you,
Stack the old ones.
like, yeah, you could redeem live ones, but it only lets you go a certain amount of time in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will
This is
say,
the most recent one I've painted.
if you, I doubt you will, because
Face turned out pretty good.
you probably won't be browsing in the nether realms of the I just realized what I said, but in the darknesses of the Microsoft store. But it said there was a free trial of Mortal Kombat 1. Shitty ass trial. It's time limited and like gated to a whole bunch of stuff. It's not a full trial.
Yeah.
So and honestly, like,
Trial.
I mean, it lets you play just enough of the story. When I was like, I mean, I don't want to be mean, but you did not sell this game very well. Like
Really?
the story mode, like, takes out all the fatalities, like all the fun stuff. I mean, because you can't kill somebody that you're going to re-encounter later in the story or whatever. So you just generally end up with like a kind of a draw fight or whatever, and you win, but it's like, they get away or whatever. But
Should I go back and play? I have all the other ones.
Where'd
Should I
you-
just go back and play through the story on like whatever it is, 8, 9, 10, or
I
whatever
mean,
the fuck it is?
11's on Game Pass also.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
play the
I
latest one.
own it. I bought it when
Oh,
it went
okay.
on super sale.
I
at
mean,
some
yeah.
point.
I mean, go play 10 or 11. You don't have to jump to 1 because I mean, I will be honest. Like the story modes are intricate for a fighting game, which is usually just like, what did you do? I hate you. Let's fight.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it's like all of his dreams came true. Dun, 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 at the end, like I'm just saying, that's like usually what you get in a fighting game. So they're
Yeah.
far more intricate than that. But
Which one was
it's
DC?
anime as fuck because they make
Oh.
no goddamn sense.
Yeah,
I'm
of
just
course
saying,
not.
like, don't try
Which
to make
one
sense
was
of the story.
DC versus Mortal Kombat? Was that 8?
I don't think that was a number. I think it was its own thing.
Well, yeah, but they
Oh, it
actually
did
said
assign
it
it?
was a numbered one at some point. But yeah.
Then it would
But
have had to be
what was
like
the what was the
9.
whole reboot one? Was it like 9, 10, 11? And then it went back to 1 again?
I thought 9 was, so maybe 8 was what they called DC one. I don't know.
gotta look up.
It gets confusing because now they also have the
Yeah.
Injustice games, which are totally 100% DC. And then sometimes the DC characters show up as download content in the new Mortal Kombat, or vice versa. Because like Sub-Zero is in the other one or something.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
All right, video games. Let's see.
But yeah, I was just saying, don't even bother with that trial because it's
Not selling it at all.
well, yeah, just unless you want to just sit there and play, versus mode with all the characters that they give you, which is fine, I guess. But yeah, you literally hit a point in the story, and it's like it just boom. All right, thanks for playing.
Yeah.
And click a button to buy or exit.
There's a new
11,
Contra,
10.
right?
Yeah,
That's,
is
like,
that-
brand new?
Isn't that the one that's sort of like roguelite ish? Like when you redo the runs, you're actually like upgrading stuff. I think.
don't know.
don't
I
know-
just saw that.
I don't know if it's that or if it was Double Dragon. There's one of the like classic, I know they're not the same ones that shoot and ones that beat 'em up, but it was like one of the classic like side-scrolling things. Like when you play, every time you play, you're actually like upgrading stuff slightly. And
I don't know. I just saw like 20 minutes of gameplay for Contra Operation Galuga.
Galuga.
Lugalugers. Operation Galuga.
Nice.
Yeah. It came out in February, so it's just the other day.
I had forgotten how long Mortal Kombat, like that stuff. Mortal Kombat versus DC was 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was just Mortal Kombat was 2011, which would have been 9. Mortal Kombat 10 was 2015. 11 was 2019.
Well, yeah, I think
And
I
then-
think that's why they.
And
did
then
more-
this one is
this
last
is
September.
like 12 or whatever. Yeah.
2023.
But yeah, I think like that's why they did Mortal Kombat X because they're like,
10.
they're like it's 10, but also like the Xbox Series X or things were like not necessarily 10. It's just the next thing. Also, when this is gonna be a super old man thing of me, but like first it was like we would say versus, and then we got lazy and we're like V. Like somebody V something, and now why is it X? Why are we X? But doesn't that just mean crossover? That doesn't necessarily mean
it's
versus.
cross.
Yeah, it's cross.
It's stupid.
I hate this. I hate her, bro.
Yeah, I gotta get out of
Yeah, Mackie's got to go. I would like to get home too. I am tired. Excuse me, and dying. So.
All right. Bye, stream.
Bye,